Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. This is our surface map as of 9 a.m. and as you can clearly see, we have a cold front that is slowly moving towards the Northern Mid-Atlantic this morning. Now, a few strong to severe thunderstorms did develop around the Philadelphia metropolitan area, specifically around Delaware County, where some strong wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour downed some trees. Otherwise, the majority of the strong thunderstorms have weakened and to the point that there are only a few scattered showers and steady rain back over eastern and central Pennsylvania. That rain will continue to move east and exit off the mid-Atlantic coast around this afternoon between 2 and 3 p.m. So overall, we're looking at a rather wet day. Temperatures are going to remain warm ahead of this cold front with temperatures in the 60s, but then they'll fall through the 50s and 40s this afternoon and evening. If you're going to any of the baseball games, don't worry about the rain. The rain will be gone by the time both the Mets and Phillies start and the Yankees start this evening. Look for windy conditions though with temperatures falling, so it'll be a little bit raw out there, but at least it'll be dry and the games will start on time. Unfortunately, this cold front and the frontal boundary in general will not be moving all that much over the next 48 hours. In fact, it will be hanging around through Thursday with the threat of a few isolated showers. Now, for the most part, I think most locations will remain dry, but unfortunately, temperatures will be hung up around the lower to mid 50s for most locations as the northern mid-Atlantic is basically trapped between the cool polar air mass sitting over the Great Lakes and eastern Canada and the much warmer air mass sitting over the southeast and southern mid-Atlantic. So that puts us at a threat of a few scattered showers every afternoon for Wednesday and Thursday as various disturbances move through. Meanwhile, an area low pressure over the southern plains by tomorrow will track towards the eastern Great Lakes by Friday, and that is going to produce some rainfall for the northern mid-Atlantic. This is the European model guidance for Friday evening, and as you can clearly see, we have an area low pressure over the Ohio Valley, another area low pressure back over the plains, and a high pressure system sitting over New England. The position of this high pressure system over New England is going to be extremely important. The further east this high pressure system is, the better chance that rainfall will impact much of the northern mid-Atlantic. However, if the high pressure system is slow to give way, then portions of the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area will remain cool, raw with winds from the east and temperatures holding in the 50s, but overall dry as the majority of the rainfall will remain over the south. Now, there's a few other aspects that we need to take a look at for this forecast on Friday. At the mid-levels, as you can clearly expect with a frontal boundary, there's going to be a very strong thermal gradient from basically Connecticut down to Virginia, where temperatures in Virginia will be around 10 degrees Celsius, which translates to roughly the 70s and 80s over much of the southern mid-Atlantic. Meanwhile, locations around the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area will range anywhere from 45 to 60 degrees, depending on where exactly this frontal boundary ends up at the surface. Now, clearly we have plenty of moisture at the mid-levels. This is about 850 millibars. So that means that there's going to be plenty of potential for showers and even a few thunderstorms on Friday. But where is the heaviest rainfall? Well, that's where we have to go to 500 millibars. This is the key point for Friday. The majority of lifting at the mid and upper levels is not over the northern mid-Atlantic, but over the eastern Great Lakes and heading towards New England. Now, this is important because that basically tells me that the majority of the steady rain will be northwest of the northern mid-Atlantic, possibly clipping Connecticut. Meanwhile, much of the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area will have to be dodging showers, but it will not be widespread and likely will not be an all-day washout event. So if you're planning on going to the Mets home opener on Friday afternoon, yes, there will be a threat for showers, but I think they'll get the game in with some showers passing through every so often, and most of these showers will be light. Now, if this high pressure system is a little bit further south and east, then we'll end up with actually some broken clouds and dry conditions as high pressure will keep the majority of that rainfall at bay. But eventually this warm front will move through, and when it does, it will produce some pretty good heavy rain, anywhere from a half an inch to an inch of rain possible as a warm front moves through. And then we get into some very warm conditions. The big news this weekend is actually going to be the storm track, which is going to shift north of the northern Mid-Atlantic. And that's really important because that basically means that the threat for the steady rain and the raw weather conditions is all going to shift up towards New England. And that's going to put the northern Mid-Atlantic, specifically the Philadelphia metropolitan area, in a much warmer and drier air mass. Now, when we're moving into this air mass, we can expect temperatures ranging from the 60s into the lower 70s, possibly mid 70s, depending on the amount of sunshine. On Saturday, I still expect a few isolated showers as a few disturbances move through. And then on Sunday, probably the best day of the weekend, dry conditions, scattered a few clouds, and temperatures in the 60s to possibly the mid 70s if we get enough sunshine over the Philadelphia metropolitan area on Sunday afternoon. So we're looking at a very nice weekend. And as you can see by the early portion of next week, our area of low pressures are moving into the St. Lawrence River Valley and towards northern New England, well north of the northern Mid-Atlantic, and that means plenty of warm air is going to pump into the Philadelphia, New York City metropolitan area. So look for 60s, 70s for highs. Lows will be basically in the 40s. There will be a threat here and there for some showers and thunderstorms. Watch out for some rogue disturbances. But overall, we're looking at dry conditions and warm conditions. So certainly a great turn of events for weather conditions throughout the northern Mid-Atlantic as we move towards this weekend and into next week. And as we move into the latter portions of next week, high pressure will remain in control off the southeast coast, which means we're going to be very warm. There will be a threat of a few low pressure systems producing a few scattered showers towards the end of next week, but right now these low pressure systems are looking rather weak. And as far as the temperatures, currently we're looking at 850 millibar temperatures anywhere from 10 to 14 degrees Celsius over the northern Mid-Atlantic, and that basically translates to temperatures in the upper 60s to mid 70s for highs and mid 40s to lower 50s for lows. And if things break just right, could see a few 80-degree temperatures in some isolated locations. So we're clearly moving towards a much warmer and much more pleasant pattern. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.